Alright, today I'm going to show you a little bit more of a complex text animation, a scale up and bounce. So what I'm going to first do is, with my timeline text selected, I'm going to unfurl these properties and add an animation. I'm going to add a scale, and then I'm going to see this animator 1. Now what I first want to do is go into the range selector and then animate the offset. So I'm going to set the offset to -100%, and I'll click on the timeline to add a keyframe, and then I'm going to go into the advanced tab and change the shape to ramp up. Now nothing is happening right now because we have to say at what point is this going to be at very, very small or 0. So we're going to go to the scale property under the animator 1 and set this to 0%. And once we set the scale to 0%, we're going to go forward in time to about the 2-second mark, and we'll set the offset to 100%. And if we play this back, we're getting an interesting sort of scale up from left to right. Now I want the animation to happen just a little bit faster, so I'm going to zoom into my timeline here and set this to the 1-second mark, and I'm going to move my playhead to the 2-second mark, and I'll hit N on my keyboard, and that will change the work area of my timeline, and I'll right click on my work area and set trim comp to work area. So now it's not super duper long, and we're still getting the same text animation. So now what I want to do is add some easing. I want to make this feel a little bit more organic. So first what we're going to do is go to the ease high and ease low, and we'll set this to 70. Depending on the look that you're going for, the ease high and ease low could be 50%, could be 20%, really just depends on your visual style. So now the animation looks a little bit better. I'll actually scooch this keyframe out just a little bit more so it's a little bit softer. Not bad. Now, how do we create the bounce? This is where it's going to get a little hairy. What we're going to do is we're going to bring this animator 1 and collapse it just so we have more real estate in our timeline. And with the animator 1 selected, we'll hit Control D, and that will duplicate animator 1 into animator 2. Now nothing is going to happen because we're basically telling the text layer to do the same thing. So first what we have to do is we have to set the scale on animator 2 to a little bit bigger than the first animator. So we know that animator 1 is scaling the text to 100%, so we're going to set this to 110. And now what's going to happen is it's going to do the same thing, but the text will actually be a little bit bigger. Now it's kind of hard to see, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit U on my keyboard, and that will reveal all of the keyframes that I have selected, and then I will push these keyframes out just a little bit. And what that's going to do when we play this back is that will create an incredibly subtle little like pop-up bounce. So I realize that's a little small for me. I want to exaggerate this just so you can see what's happening. I'll hit UU on my keyboard, and that will allow me to see all of the properties on my layer that I have changed. So I'm going to go to the scale, and I'll set this to 150% for animator 2. And now if I play that back, now we're getting that fun little bounce effect. And this is a really cool way to create really organic looking text animation by just duplicating these animators. So to have this bounce down now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to animator 2 and hit Control D, duplicate that, and then I will bring down all the properties for animator 3. Now I'm going to set the scale to, let's say, 75%, and then I'm going to go into my range selector for animator 3, and I will scooch these keyframes over about 3 or 4 more frames. I'll hit U on my keyboard just to hide everything, and then U one more time to see all of those keyframes, and let's give that one last playback. Now we're getting this really fun looking scale up and bounce animation using just one text layer, and I count 6 keyframes. If you were to do this by hand, you would need a lot of keyframes for every single letter. So the text animator tool is very powerful, and I hope you learned something. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, or if you have questions, comments, concerns, whatever else, comment section is down there for that as well. Hit me up on Instagram at JohnJagsNeat if you have anything specific that you need, and I will leave you with one final tip, and that is to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and you'll make some gains. Go Goodbye, my friends. Bye.